Theosophical literature generally postulates that the period of time, physical time, between incarnations is 1,000 to 1,500 years, and it has been suggested in the Mahatma letters that it's possible to stay in Devachan's state of bliss for several thousand years. However, I don't think it's quite as strict as that. These figures were given about 130 years ago. There's a lot more of us on the planet now, and we're probably coming round a lot more quickly. However, in his book, First Principles of Theosophy, Kurupamalaja Jinrajadasa postulates that those he describes as being on the path reduce the time between incarnations to just a few years, and also they retain something of the personality or the mental and astral bodies of their previous lives, and they can dispense with Devachan. Now, Jinrajadasa describes being on the path as being a chela or a disciple of an ascended master. I think that's rather too strict a term. It almost makes esoteric development, spiritual development, into a closed shop. So I think we can look at a broader definition of being on the path than just being a chela of an ascended master. Anyway, ascended masters, now they're ascended. They've ascended above the need to engage in the cycle of death and rebirth, and they can come back through choice to help their fellow man. So they've got it sorted. They come back through choice. But looking at those described as on the path, now, at what point do you reach the what could be described as being on the path? Well, I would say that any level of spiritual development, effort made, nothing is wasted, any effort made towards spiritual development will put you on the path. Now, to get to the level of being on the path to the extent that you can dispense with Devachan and you can come back within a few years, retaining something from your past life, I think that's a long way off for most of us. But the beginning with the effort made will start to make a difference. Now, C.W. Leadbeater states that being able to remember something from past lives, this is without the hypnotic regression, being able to remember something from past lives does represent a level of spiritual attainment through inner work, and that's it's a result that has been obtained through work done in the past. Nothing is wasted. So even if you're not at the level that you actually going to come back in 5 years with something of your previous personality, spiritual work, I think, will enable you to firstly choose a better life for spiritual development. I think that you're on the path, and at whatever level you're on the path, but you have made the effort. So you move out of the sort of the rank and file of death and rebirth. You move up slightly, and that will accumulate over a number of lives. But no effort is wasted, and the benefits in the cycle of death and rebirth will probably show, even say in your next life, there will be some benefit. Certainly the work you've done in previous lives comes through as probably certain level of spirituality. You've had it easier next time, and certainly aspirations towards spirituality in a previous life will certainly present themselves as fresh opportunities, and they're opportunities not to be wasted. So you've got to start somewhere, and the idea that even if you're not successful in what you set out to attain spiritually in this life, it will not be wasted, and you get the benefit next time round, and probably gradually you would shorten the period between incarnations, and you can take, it wouldn't happen straight away, but you would start to take a little bit through with you to the next life. And if you're doing that in a small way, you're not doing it to the extent an ascended master would be doing it, in which case in which he controls the cycle of death and rebirth. He can come back when he wants to, and also come back for a purpose. But you would be starting to control the cycle of death and rebirth, and I think that would be very beneficial, and a sign that you're on the way.